Moscow, January 2008. Snow drifts along the alleys near the Arbat Hotel. The kind of night where breath fogs into the dark and men with guns move like shadows. Inside the lobby, a heavy-set man lights a cigarette. Slow, controlled. His name, Semyon Mogilevich. Russian police close in. The FBI is waiting for a phone call that will never come. Every agency on Earth wants him. Fraud, money laundering, weapons deals, and something worse. A criminal empire so deeply woven into governments and markets that removing it could break the global economy. 18 months later, Mogilevich walks out of custody without a trial. No explanation, no consequences. Because by then, he isn't just a criminal, he's a system. Blueprint of a ghost. Semyon Mogilevich was born in Kiev, 1946. To classmates, he was the quiet one, the thinker, the student who solved economic problems while others solved street fights. He learned early that in the Soviet world, value wasn't about supply and demand. It was about loopholes. After a prison sentence in 1977 for illegal currency dealing, most men would have left broken. Mogilevich left educated. He'd studied the weak points of a collapsing empire from the inside. When Soviet Jews rushed toward Israel and America in the 1980s, he saw opportunity. Families leaving everything behind, desperate, carrying heirlooms, gold, paintings. Mogilevich offered a deal. Sell now, receive payment later. But the payments never came. By 1984, he'd pocketed $20 million through pure human desperation. It was just seed money. Across the Soviet Union, another man was learning his own version of the same lesson. A young KGB officer in Leningrad, Vladimir Putin. Both men learned the same rule. Power isn't in guns, it's in systems, and systems can be rewritten. The empire behind the curtain. In 1991, the Soviet Union shattered. Where others saw ruins, Mogilevich saw open doors. He moved to Budapest and built a new headquarters disguised as a nightclub, the Black and White. Champagne upstairs, criminal logistics downstairs. Then came his masterpiece, YBM, Magnex International. Officially, it made industrial magnets. In reality, it was built almost entirely from paperwork. Manufacturing reports, shipping manifests, revenue sheets, all immaculate. The factory barely functioned. The products barely existed. But in the age of post-Soviet chaos, everyone wanted a piece of the emerging Eastern markets. By 1997, YBM's value had skyrocketed to almost $1 billion. Canadian pension funds bought in. Investment firms praised it. The paperwork was too perfect not to believe. Until May 1998, when the FBI raided its Pennsylvania offices. The stock collapsed to zero. 20,000 investors lost everything. Mogilevich was never in Pennsylvania. He didn't need to be. The global financial system delivered his crimes for him, but this was only the storefront. Behind it, something darker was growing. Czech police raided a villa outside Prague, expecting stolen cars. They found soundproof rooms, drains in the floor, chains welded to walls. Investigators called it medieval. His enforcers, Afghan war veterans, trained, tortured, loyal. Violence wasn't the engine of his empire. It was just the quality control. The real machinery was money. Billions of dollars began flowing through Benex International, a shell company moving funds into the Bank of New York. Hundreds of transfers worth up to $100 million a day. Over $10 billion moved through the system. Oil deals, aluminum exports, tax fraud, weapons sales, thousands of microtransactions splitting and vanishing into offshore companies. 2 bank employees facilitated the scheme for a $2 million cut. They went to prison. Mogilevich didn't. Because his name appeared nowhere. He existed in the blind spots of global finance, and he was expanding. Through front companies, he controlled nearly 90% of Hungary's arms industry. He sold $20 million of weapons to Iran. He was linked to trafficking technology banned under international law. Intelligence agencies feared he'd sell anything to anyone for the right price. He wasn't just a mob boss. He was becoming a geopolitical variable. when crime and state become one. While Mogilevich dominated Europe's criminal markets, Putin's ascent in Russia accelerated. The 1999 apartment bombings killed 300 civilians. Putin blamed Chechen terrorists and launched a war. His approval jumped from single digits to over 50%. December 31st, 1999, President Yeltsin resigned. Putin took power. From this point on, two systems, one criminal, one political, moved in parallel but complementary paths. And then came the revelation from Alexander Litvinenko. Dying in a London hospital poisoned with polonium-210, he recorded his final testimony. In it, he stated that Mogilevich had a close relationship with Vladimir Putin, dating back to their St. Petersburg days in the 1990s. Not an informant, not an asset, a relationship. Suddenly, everything made sense. In 2008, when Russian police arrested Mogilevich on absurdly small tax evasion charges, Western agencies waited, hopeful. 18 months later, he was released. Charges dropped, case dissolved. It wasn't a prosecution, it was a performance. European intelligence later confirmed the unthinkable. Mogilevich had been treated as an official representative of Russian intelligence, not protected by the system, integrated into it. The FBI placed him on its 10 most wanted list in 2009. By 2015, they removed him, not because he was no longer a threat, but because he lived in a country that would never extradite him. He had achieved a form of criminal immortality, and the money kept flowing. Rosgrenergo, a Swiss-registered company mediating Russian gas sales through Ukraine, moved $2.5 billion annually. Its public owner, Ukrainian billionaire Dmytro Firtash, later admitted privately to U.S. diplomats that he needed Mogilevich's approval to enter the gas sector. Organized crime wasn't skimming profits. It was embedded in the infrastructure feeding Europe's heating systems. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, the first weapon used wasn't tanks. It was pipelines Mogilevich had helped turn into leverage. Journalists investigating the networks paid in blood. Anna Politkovskaya, shot. Pavel Sheremet, car bomb. Sergei Magnitsky, beaten to death in prison. Alexander Litvinenko, radioactive poisoning. Different stories, same shadow. The legacy of an invisible king. Semyon Mogilevich is now in his late 70s. No one knows if he still commands the empire or simply enjoys the wealth it created. He dines in upscale Moscow restaurants under state protection. The $5 million FBI reward remains unclaimed. Not because he's hidden, every agency knows exactly where he is, but because everyone who could claim the reward already made a choice. Mogilevich proved that a criminal can become so valuable, so intertwined with political and financial systems, that the world quietly accepts his existence. His playbook, shell companies, weaponized bureaucracy, offshore webs, plausible deniability, became the blueprint for 21st century cybercrime. Ransomware gangs, crypto laundering, deep state interference. They're all running a modern version of the machine he built in the 1990s. Semyon Mogilevich didn't outrun the system. He learned to rewrite it, and in doing so, he became the one thing a criminal should never be able to become: untouchable.